Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Jedi Alliance. Today we are on the final approach to Rogue One. We're going to be talking about hashtag DumpStarWars, if there's enough ship diversity in the Star Wars universe, as well as catching up on Rebels before we go into Rogue One. We're going to be talking about all this and more, so don't miss it.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Jedi Alliance.
Did it look like I sliced the frame? Because I hope it did. Welcome to another episode of Jedi Alliance, where we celebrate the greatest saga in film and beyond. I am one of your hosts, the internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. Joined as always by the one youngster. He is Michael Young.
Hey, what's up, y'all? One youngster, ONEYOUNGSTA, and that's on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere you can find good social media people.
You have been You've been a lifesaver because I've been a little bit under the weather this past week, and you've been posting a lot on all of our social media, which is all Jedi Alliance Pod. We're on Facebook, Twitter, all that, and you've been a godsend. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, it's great to be part of the team.
I'm happy to have you a part of the team. And speaking of being a part of the team, she is joining. Excuse me, she is joining us from the booth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm referring to her as our human chat role relations. That is Alexis Torres.
Hey everyone, it's good to be back.
Welcome to the show, Alexis. Usually you're going to be on the show. Traditionally, you're going to be on the show on the couch.
Manning that couch.
But today we had a little bit of a scheduling snafu, and you're still going to be joining us, but from the booth.
Heck yeah.
So we're absolutely pleased as punch to have you. Remember, we are taking all of your live comments and incorporating them with the show. We are also taking a fan-submitted story every week, and we're going to be talking about that at the end of the show. But to start off with, Alexis, something came up in the news this week that you wanted to talk about. Why don't you start us off with this conversation?
Well, I don't know if anyone's been living under a rock or anything like that, but we had some, I apologize for the noises that are coming from the booth behind me. But it was called, there's a hashtag going around called hashtag DumpStarWars, where pretty much the writer was tweeting out some crazy stuff about like the Empire being like, it's kind of like a white supremacist, and like there was just a bunch of other stuff that, and they were saying that like Trump was kind of part of it, and so a lot of people are boycotting Star Wars because they were talking terribly about Trump or relating it to Trump, and there's the other half of it that's also saying that like, oh, we shouldn't bring politics in there, and it was just like the internet exploded.
Yeah, the internet seemed to misunderstand what was going on. There were accusations that the reshoots and the rewrites of Rogue One were specifically to start aiming at a more real-world political message, starting to understand that the Empire may be a little bit more of a fascist dictatorship, and people are starting to see the connecting threads, possibly between those two groups, between the real world quote alt-right and the Empire, and the folks who are seeing those connections are members of that society, and everybody else went, oh no, the Star Wars is bad guys. That we ever since we've been kids, you know, it's like the Empire has been the bad guys, and there really hasn't been a gray. They've been killing people without thought. And while we have been in this world, we've been into more of a gray world of Star Wars. The Empire as a whole hasn't changed as a negative force.
No, they're pretty mean.
They're pretty mean. Like we do have some individual members of the Empire that make you think, oh well they're not all bad, they're in it for the wrong reasons, or maybe they joined it for not necessarily the proper reasons. But this whole the DumpStarWars, they started, this was something similar happened when everybody started to think that it was a pro-female agenda with episode 7.
Oh yeah.
One of the unfortunate side effects of the world we live in is
yeah, it's unfortunate because you can't. There's a lot of real things that are going on in the world to worry about, and at least you can be like, okay, well, I can escape to a galaxy far away. And you can't do it anymore.
No, you can't.
Well, I mean, you can, but it seems like, well, after reading it, I guess I would have been able to agree with the people that were wanting to, boycott and everything if this was an official statement that came from, say, Lucasfilm, or an official statement that came from Disney. But it's one of the writers. One of the writers, I'm sure, and I mean, I have
his opinion.
Yeah,
too, like,
it's one writer.
But I love how also everybody started to freak out because they tweeted out, or I believe it was the same writer who tweeted out oh my gosh, I'm blanking. It was the Rebel Alliance symbol with a safety pin through it, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And it was just so ridiculous. So, like, I'm actually reading tweets now that someone put all together. Like, Star Wars writers rewrote and reshot Rogue One to add an anti-Trump scene, calling him a racist, disgusting, dump Star Wars, or like, please keep your kids from seeing this movie, this liberal propaganda. Like, it's crazy.
Let's have a minute to think, like quote unquote real American citizens. Yes. What is everybody, especially a big corporation like Disney, adhere to? Money.
Yes.
Why would they want to, in general, why would they want to create a limited message to a quote unquote smaller market instead of appealing to everybody? I don't think and that aside, that as a company, Disney is against hate regardless. Yeah.
And I think in general on the internet, it's easy to get mad about something. Oh. Especially when, fake news drops. So, he makes a statement and then someone adds a little salt and pepper to it, and now everybody can get angry about it.
And now my uncle's complaining about it on Facebook.
Yeah, and it's like, that's actually, I wish people on the internet would just track things that, like, back to what was originally said. Because, you see an article and you're like, whoa, what is Disney doing? But then when you track it down, it's like, oh, it's one guy that worked on the movie that doesn't like Trump. Well, there's a lot of people that don't like him. There's a lot of people that like him. Is this going to stop the movie for me?
No.
I don't think so.
Nope. Take my money, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Because if you were gonna do that, there's so many actors or that are pro-Trump and anti-Trump. So I guess that would be or con-Trump or whatever that would
pro
be.
or con.
Yeah, pro or con Trump. So would you just I guess boycott all of those people's films too? Or is it just because Star Wars is a name and that's how you get clickbait and that's how you get traffic to your site?
It's pretty much just because Rogue One is coming out soon. So that's
once it comes out and quote unquote comes and goes, it will never go away because it's Star Wars.
Well, yeah, no.
Once it's had its time in the limelight, that nobody will care that the story was a thing. And I think we're going to keep that rebel symbol with the safety pin through it. I think that's going to be a thing.
It's awesome.
One thing that I think is cool that no one stopped to think about when the person wrote it. How are we going to weave Trump into the Star Wars universe? They just said it. Like, okay, no real world person has ever made an appearance ever in Star Wars, right? But all of a sudden, we're gonna break tradition that's been
just
30, 40 years old, whatever it is, and say, oh. Just because of Trump, let's go and throw him in there. What's he going to do? What's he going to play? Grand Moff Trumpkin? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what role he's supposed to play.
Or I think it would if they did it this way. If they made a new species of Lugabeast. Or in episode 7, I forget the name of it, but the beasts in on Jakku that Finn was sharing the water with. There was a version of that with a weird tuft of hair that was called the Drump.
Yes, I remember.
That's one thing, but they were just like, hey, these are bad dudes that run a fascist dictatorship. I see it's Donald Trump. How do you see if you see that? Where's the problem?
I can sort of see. You kind of got to go long to make the connection, but I can see the connection. You're like, oh, you got this, you got this government, but you could kind of put that on any government that people, whose people don't like them. Mm-hmm. You can put that on, you can put that on Russia, Germany, Britain. You can put it on anyone really. So I think it's, mixed with trying to get traffic, plus Star Wars is a big name. That's how you drum up kick up a little dirt.
Kick up a little bit of dirt. Alexis, what are some folks in chat
I was
talking
actually
about?
just about to say that. Slim413, 41 third says
slam.
Trump is actually Jar Jar. Tommy D.
No, because Jar Jar deserves some redemption.
No, he does. Jar Jar shouldn't even get that. Tommy D says, pretty sure the president-elect could play, I think it says, Elephant Man?
Effant Man.
Effant Man? Okay, I was like, I didn't know if you were trying to say Elephant Man, and I was like, wow. Or Chaos 13212 says, LOL, more like Darth Trumpkin.
Trumpkin?
And I was
Wow.
like,
That gets a little bit too close. This is a family show.
family
You can pull from that whatever you want. Alexis, thank you for bringing this
I
topic.
wasn't trying
and
to like start anything. Like,
No, of course not.
Nah. I mean,
I was
it's
just very interested that
you know,
Star Wars got pulled into that. You know?
you know, people are talking about it, so to a certain degree, we'll end up covering it sooner or later.
Right?
Exactly, but I found it very important to talk about. So thank you for bringing it to us, Michael. You had a very I like how we're 2 weeks in and you're not sticking to news. You're like, you know what's been bothering me, and that's no, but that's part of the reason why I wanted to change the show up to just be like, here is news, here is topic, here is thing, is because sometimes like. You know what? I was looking at my tie interceptor, and I got a little perturbed. What did you bring to the table? What do you want to talk about?
Well, you know, Star Wars is back. It came with Episode 7. It was great, and now we see Rogue One on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the only ships that I've seen was the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters. And it looks like there's some variations of the TIE Fighters that are coming
There's
out.
one right
you know,
here.
Very, very
This
cool.
is, I forget what it's called, but I love this
Like
design.
TIE Interceptor, cool TIE Arrow ship.
Yeah. What?
Cool Arrow ship.
I'll bring up the name. Sorry, go ahead.
But I noticed that it seems like we forgot all of the other canon ships, like the B-Wing, the A-Wing. Well, I guess,
love the B-Wing.
you know, the Jedi Starfighter, even though I guess you don't really, those really wouldn't exist anymore.
Though, if you think about it, the shape and the design is actually reminiscent of this tie.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
reminiscent of the but you know, you have like well, I guess like the slave ships are a little like the Slave One ship is it wouldn't really have a place, but you know, there was a diverse like look at ships, like even TIE bombers and stuff like that, and we've only seen X-Wings and TIE fighters, and that's it. And I was wondering, you know, kind of like what ships would you like to see in the new, I guess, the new big screen canon, because we've seen them in the animated films, animated series and stuff like that. And also, what ship would you like to pilot?
Well, I'm
We have 2 hours? I don't know.
I've been really quickly. This is the TIE Striker.
Oh, TIE Striker.
So
Okay, cool.
it's quick. It can move in, and even if it runs out of energy, you can just stab the ground, or like you can crash this into another ship and just totally take stuff out, which is
Wow.
pretty cool. And then of course the U-wing is the new rebel ship.
So awesome.
Yeah,
the U-Wing is pretty cool.
I've always been a fan of the TIE Bomber back on when I would play the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter games. TIE Bomber, TIE Interceptor, Vader's special TIE Fighter, the custom Vader TIE has always been one of my favorites. The Y-Wing, like the Y-Wing, the bombers, the heavy classes, the multi-pilot heavy class, I absolutely love it. If I would have to pick one, I would say a Y-Wing, Team Y-Wing all the way.
As a matter of fact, speaking are the dreadnoughts canon anymore, or I don't even know.
Don't know.
I'm not sure, but anyway, how about you, Alexis? Like, what are you feeling about
I mean,
ships?
I'm
Like,
kind of on the same boat as Mark. I've always been a fan of the bombers just because I love anything that's fast and things like that, because it's just how I roll. Just like with any other type of like anything has to do with like big robots or anything like that, I'm always like, go for the racers. Like, it's just like how I am. But I've always actually really liked the design of the B-Wing, to be honest. The B-Wing fighters. I don't know. I always thought that they're just kind of unique and
Have you
they
show
look
those
kinda
up right
funky.
now?
Yeah, which I have
Yeah.
up here, and I don't know, I just think it looks really freaking cool. I love how like the pilot is on the side of it instead of being up front, and I just love how it kind of glides through when they're doing attacks and stuff like that. I don't know, I always thought they were very interesting.
Yeah, one of my favorite episodes of Rebels was from last season where they showed the creation of
Hera.
the B-Wing. Yeah. Alexis, if you haven't seen that one, I would totally recommend going back and
It's
seeing
on my
it.
list,
It's
man.
super good.
Yeah, I'm rewatching all of Rebels, so I'm getting there.
What about you? What about you?
I love the Jedi Starfighter.
The Jedi Starfighter is really cool.
It's like an angular kind of like arrow kind of like those, and that's almost kind of similar to the new ships that the Mandalorians have as well, where the wings like flip around.
Yeah.
They like rotate around the pod or whatever that is.
There's also the what was it? Not, it wasn't called the Tri-Fighter, but I called it that, where it had 3 foils instead of 2.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, the Jedi Starfighter, just you and your R2, and you get out, well, your astromech. But I mean, you get you and R2, and you get in there, and you just take out targets. I love the Jedi Starfighter. Plus, I like the fact that you like connect with that little ring, and then you like
for the
hyperdrive. I think that's really cool.
I agree.
Sorry, not to like intervene there, but what's the ship that we saw in I can't remember which prequel it was, but it was my dad calls him Papa Fett. I don't know why, but that's
Django Fett?
Django?
Yeah, Django.
That was still Slave 1.
Was that still okay?
That was still Slave 1.
Slave 1. He gave. Well, I don't know if he gave the ship, but
he may have.
He kind of bequeathed the ship.
Hey, hey, I'm gonna die. You should probably take this ship when I'm gone.
Yeah.
It's just that maybe because it was in the rain, but I know when I was little I could never connect the ships together because they looked different to me. But like that was always like my dad and I's favorite ship on top of it. And then obviously when I got into the Star Wars universe on my own, then I fell in love with the B-Wing after that. But yeah.
Really quickly, the ship that you have up, Michael, what this looks familiar, but I can't recall
I can't
it.
recall it.
Well, that's a B-Wing, just laid down.
But the thing is, what threw me off is that the B-Wing had at least in this picture, there's like an extra gunner on the end here, and I don't remember that.
I thought that was just a gun, not an extra an extra sheet.
No,
I mean, an
in
extra
the
seat.
only had 2 guns on it.
Where the foils connect, there is a cockpit, and I believe up top there's when it goes to its side in the pod on the right, there's another one as well.
Okay, all right.
It just threw me off because when it's laying down, I was like, is there actually 1, 2, 3, 4?
It's
like, oh.
It's a beautiful piece of art that we have now. If you're listening to us on iTunes, make sure to check us out on the Popcorn Talk Network on YouTube. But the cockpit on the right is reminiscent of like a freighter, like your Millennium Falcons, and the cockpit in the middle reminds me of the Snowspeeders. And speaking of the Snowspeeders, I love those things, and I wish there was more of a reason to use them. Like I'm kind of hoping to see a version of them in Rogue One, since we are dealing with walkers.
True.
Although actually no, because maybe
beach speeders or something.
Something, but the rebels wouldn't have the way to combat them yet.
True.
That's the thing. Is we've been seeing walkers near the beginnings more recently in Rebels, but we don't. The rebellion doesn't necessarily know how to handle them efficiently.
Okay.
I do like the A-wing.
Yeah, the B is the bomb.
Y-wing's the bomb.
Yeah, Y-wings are cool. But mine, I'd have to say the Jedi Starfighter. That's me.
The Jedi Starfighter is pretty killer.
Yeah, and it's the most that like at least my brothers are very familiar with because they've seen them the most, and they always like that they have the R2 unit in the.
Yep.
In and with them.
Yeah.
Riding shotgun.
Heck yeah.
No, in space. Man, did you ever play the Battlefront? Star Wars Battlefront, the newer one?
Good.
I've watched people play Battlefront. I haven't played it myself.
I haven't. If you want to borrow it.
Cool.
Seriously, no, because it's
because it looks so real. It looks so Star Wars.
One of the things that I'll never forget from playing it for the first time is on Hoth, just looking at my character's like gloves holding a blaster. The felt on the gloves is like, I have those gloves. Those are real gloves. Wow. It's magical.
The detail that they put in Battlefront is insane.
And they just released the Rogue One DLC pack.
Oh, okay.
So
now is that something else that they're like nickel and diming you guys on, or is that part of
now you can get the game with all of the DLC packs for full price at $60.
Oh, okay.
So that's not as bad. Like for me, and they also have free weekends. Actually, they have free weekends where you can play. Oh, here, try this out, and if you want it, buy it. So they're not completely nickel and diming you. We're expecting a new game in the franchise next year. But the reason I brought it up is because one, the PlayStation VR, which I'm definitely going to be picking up over the holiday season to get that X-wing mission. I can't not.
Yeah.
Goodness. And then also being able to pilot a TIE fighter, a TIE Interceptor, an X-Wing, an A-Wing, the Millennium Falcon, the Slave One in a huge dogfight there's nothing like it.
It looks very cool.
Like, as much as I would not come back to the game because the first-person shooter elements would bother me, I would come back to play a couple rounds of the vehicular combat.
Well, it looks
so
like
good.
in the chat that we have a few people who are definitely on the B-Wing train for sure.
Yeah.
We have, Slim, 41 Thirds said the Vader's TIE Fighter is badass.
Oh,
But
yeah.
definitely Team B-Wing for sure. Aftermath Show says, give me an X-Wing fighter any day. And so, like, I feel like we have a good... We talked about everything. I love how Aftermath said the X-Wing is like an old Ford truck that just keeps rolling.
It really is.
Wow. They do, you do see, like, because I mean, for instance, even in episode 5, like, it takes a straight dip in a swamp.
Yep.
It comes right back out, starts right off.
I mean, it needs a little bit of help.
Well,
but
it needed a little help.
maybe a little
but-
force jump.
Yeah,
but,
a little force jump, but it started right up and flew right out. I was like,
just
wow.
found that example's so funny. It just makes so much sense.
Because if you put any car on the street today, underwater, bring it back up, yeah, you can put the key in there if you want.
Man, back in the day, they used to make cars that were boats.
But
Like, they were experimental. But still,
They're
it was like, I
experimental, but
want to
yeah.
drive this Chevy right into the lake. Well, you can.
well, you can do it now.
Terrible. I'm pretty excited about the world of Star Wars that we live in right now. I want to get going into the topic that I wanted to bring. Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
We are on season 3. This past week was episode 11, and we are in the thick of it. We got a little bit of a resolution from when we saw Ezra and Maul join the holocrons together and share a vision.
Yes.
We ended up going back to Dathomir.
Yes.
Madness. Pure madness.
Yeah.
When we saw
Some quality stuff.
So in the trailers for season 3, when we saw Kanan with the green eyes, Maul with the green eyes, everybody with the green, did you expect that we were going to that was from Dathomir?
I really didn't know where that was coming from. Like, I figured they were like possessed or something, but because I completely forgot about Dathomir because Dathomir had been destroyed basically.
Yeah.
You know, in the Son of Dathomir storyline. Then I believe there was something else where they were like wiped out. So, I mean, you know, Dathomir just wasn't on my mind at all when I saw that in the trailer. So it was kind of cool to get a little piece of history. I like how they're taking small elements from Clone Wars and, you know, peppering it in here to kind of bridge that gap and, you know, kind of, you know, let them know that there's more history than just these 3 seasons that we know now, or 2.5 seasons.
And also, I like how we are closing these doors. It's not, oh, hey, Maul is back, sure. Oh, we're going back to Dathomir, but done. And Sabine picking up the Darksaber, which was a little, like we saw in the trailer. Yeah. But now seeing the...
And the
history?
I guess the idea that's being floated around the internet of Sabine and her lineage and her parentage and stuff.
I haven't seen these theories.
Well, some people have been talking online about Sabine could be Obi-Wan and Satine's child.
What?
And I know is just a couple
did
of people.
have a good relationship with.
So Satine and Obi-Wan have Sabine, and then Luke and Sabine get together and have Rey. Now that's the you know, of course there's always a brand new theory.
I don't know.
There's always a brand new theory, but I'm just letting you know that's what
I
he's like. He's mad at me.
No, I'm mad at the internet.
He's like, but
Internet.
that now I will say a little off. I do think Rey is a Kenobi, but back to the show. I think it's cool for her to see the Darksaber because the Darksaber does kind of it holds some weight in the Mandalorian culture.
Oh, sure.
So I was glad to see her pick it up and take it off with her. I'd like to see her use it some more. And
especially after seeing her reconnect, quote unquote, reconnect with her culture in Imperial Super Commandos.
Yeah.
It's I wonder for Sabine's future. I really do.
she's one of my favorite parts of this show. They better not get rid of her.
We also, within the past
Here
couple
goes
of...
people, Michael will just leave. Just all the table flipping.
Like,
And also, we within the past couple of episodes, we got our boy Hondo back.
yeah.
But I think
Wow, look at that eye roll.
Well, I mean, are you not a Hondo fan?
I like Hondo, but I think Hondo's been used too much in this season.
I can agree with that.
I like Hondo, but Hondo was used sparingly in Clone Wars. But I won't go there. Let's continue the Rebels.
Well, no, I think it brings up a good point, because I think they might be trying to get us tired of Hondo, as well as they're trying to, in the story, they're trying to get Ezra to realize how dangerous, despite being a little, he's kind of harmless.
Yeah,
but how dangerous Hondo can be for everybody.
Yeah, because Hondo is a very fly by the seat of his pants. And he's a cool character. He's similar. There's characters like that in all kinds of stories. But I think they're overusing him in this season. And I think, man, yeah, let's just keep going with that.
Well, that's not to say that we don't want Jim Cummings to come on the on Jedi Alliance. He's a friend of the
Yes,
network, a friend of the
please.
show. He's come into our sister networks, Jedi Alliance, a couple times, and he is just a wonderful human being. But speaking of people that need to come on to Jedi Alliance, we got that name drop at the end of episode 11 with the confirmation that Obi-Wan Kenobi is still alive. Meaning, James Arnold Taylor, I sent you a message. I know you saw it. We got no. I would let. James is an amazing person, and we've had him on the show before, and I'm very excited to have him back on to talk about the present of the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So should our fans tweet him and be like, come on the show?
Yeah, come on back to Jedi Alliance. Make sure he is at JAT Actor. Tweet at him, let him know that his friends at Jedi Alliance Pod want him back on the show. Probably after Christmas, just because he's a very busy man. See, even seeing him tweet he does the voiceover for Fox Animation Domination Sunday.
Wow.
He tweets himself in the booth like doing the promo. It's like, man, you're so busy you don't even leave your house to work. He's nuts.
I have some stuff from the chat. If you
Bring it on.
Bring it
so
on in.
I love how Slim was like, I started the Hondo episode and skipped it to watch this week's episode. Everybody loved this week's episode. They thought it was amazing. And a lot of people obviously talking about Rey. Aftermath thinks that Rey is Obi-Wan's granddaughter. The irony: a Kenobi offspring battles a Skywalker offspring, Kylo. So that's mostly what everybody's talking about. It's awesome.
Yeah. I'll go with that. I think the second I heard Kenobi's voice, even in the theater, I was like, is she like a grandniece or a granddaughter or something? Like, I think she's a Kenobi, and like I've been on that train ever since. I've never been on the Skywalker train, so. But,
It's really quickly going back to the comment about the Hondo episode. We can't not give our boy James Hong, who's an amazing actor who voices Asa Morgan, and seeing them interact and seeing him on screen again. You can't not knock him. I would very much suggest going back and watching that episode, because we get a lot of good Zeb in that episode too. But in terms of, I mean, that's been my theory since last year too. It's been a year. We're a year since the return of Star Wars, and we're back at we're getting new Star Wars every year. It's mad
It's
how
great.
we can still. It's
I love
great.
it so much.
It's great. It's
amazing.
Not to say that it's not great. It's great. It's pretty
perfect.
great.
But this episode, I think this episode, the Voices and Visions, really brought together what I think is great about Rebels. Story driven, a lot of people involved, the forces involved. You have the rebels, involved. It brought together everything that I think Star Wars needs.
Did you think Ezra was gonna kill that other rebel because he thought he was Maul?
Nah,
I think he could have.
I think he could have, but I don't think this story's. I don't think Rebels is gonna go there. I don't think Rebels has the. I don't think Rebels is gonna go as far as, say, Clone Wars went in some cases. And I don't know why. Maybe they just want to tell stories differently. But I just don't think they're gonna go that dark. I think they teased that Ezra would go dark just to join the hype train and get everybody rolling on it. But as we've seen in this at least first half of season 3, I don't feel like I've been getting what I've been sold. Unless it's going to be a situation like season 2 where all of the cool stuff in the trailer is like in the last 2 episodes and that's it. And that's a bigger issue with Rebels.
Well, we've been getting it more and more for this season.
I think our good stuff is too spread apart. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Like, I think our great stuff is spread way too far apart. Like, we get a great opening, then it's like 7 episodes of like Iron Squadron and kind of,
Iron Squadron was pretty bad.
Yeah, but and then we get like a little bit of Thrawn. I was expecting to get way more Thrawn, and we're only getting like little pieces of them.
I think,
and then so I don't know if they're waiting to put it all on like the last 3 episodes or something. But I do feel like we've kind of been sold something that we're not getting for the 2nd season in a row, and that's why I'm having this push pull with Rebels.
And I think with Dave Filoni sort of moving on, I think we might start to see a different world presented in Rebels and a different way that it's advertised, to be sure. I think that season 3 is just the beginning of Grand Admiral Thrawn. If we are getting 5 to 6 seasons, as has been previously mentioned. I don't see why we should rush through him.
True.
We still have Vader. We still have Tarkin. Like, we still have the quote unquote classics from episode 4 to really instate them as terrifying people.
Yes, but I don't know. I just feel like when you see Hondo more than you see Vader or Tarkin or Thrawn, it's kind of tough. It gets kind of tough, and then Ezra isn't really doing it for me.
Really?
He's not. But Hera and Sabine.
No, I'm all about Hera.
Hera, Sabine, and Kanan. I'm good.
That's the 3.
Yes, I'm good.
I want
Bring
more
Chopper
Murderbot
in there.
I want
Chopper.
Chopper the Murderbot. I want a little bit more Zeb being the chosen one for his people. Here's something that I just thought of. We haven't been seeing a lot of Vader. We haven't been seeing a lot of Hondo. There's one way to solve both of those problems. You heard it here first. Darth Vader's going to kill Hondo the pirate.
I think...
And it's going to send in Ezra on a rampage. Oh, red alert.
But I think I'd have to say Hondo is probably a little beneath Darth Vader. I think he's beneath... Like, Darth Vader would be like...
No, it's going to be, you're in my way. And he's just going to throw him a little bit. No, he's going to throw him out of the way. He's going to hit the wall, and maybe not neck crack, but maybe throw him out of an airlock or something. Something where it's just going to be out. All right, now you and I are fighting. Yeah. Maybe something like that, and then that's where we might get a return of brain. Never mind. There's a lot. There's a lot that
it's like, I like Hondo, but I just think Hondo has a place. And
it's not on my TV screen.
Well, I think his place is like seeing him like once or twice a season, because now we have him, we got Lando as well, and you need those kind of characters that can kind of come in, shake things up from time to time. But that's my issue with Hondo, because I loved him in Clone Wars. I was like, man, he's great, but of course in Clone Wars we didn't see him that much.
Yeah.
And now I think it's been so much in such a short period of time that I'm like, alrighty.
I think, but that's what makes me think, get all your Hondo in before he's gone.
Yeah,
because he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, he does make a lot of mistakes. And he plays around. I think he's not serious enough. I think Lando is similar to Hondo, but Lando is serious in a way. Like, he knows. I guess he knows the stakes. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
instead of Hondo's just like, hey, we'll figure it out when we figure it out.
Lando's responsible. He is responsible for a people.
True.
Anytime that we see him, for whether it's on Lothal or whether it's on Cloud City, the name escapes me. Shout out to John Roca. But I love him.
I'm not going to say the name of the planet because John Roca. We here.
We love him. But Lando is responsible for people. Hondo is responsible for himself.
True.
I mean, now he's kind of half responsible for an Ugnaught, I guess. Whatever. Let us know what you think is going to happen to Hondo the Pirate in Rebels. But the last thing that we're going to talk about before we get going on our merry way, Rogue One world premiered last night in Los Angeles. In case you missed it, there was an X-wing on Hollywood Boulevard.
I was gonna say, did anybody see that? I only saw the Facebook Live event where you were actually watching it because I was at work. But it was just so beautiful. I was like, what a time to be alive watching it.
And here's the thing about this world premiere and any world premiere when you're living in Los Angeles. They happen all the time.
Yep.
And it makes traveling impossible.
Oh, yeah.
So unless you have a distinct reason to be down there, you don't want to be down there, or you'll never go home. You'll never be home.
The thing is, no one shuts it down like Star Wars shuts it down.
So true.
Well, Disney. I would say Disney in general.
Yeah. Because Star Wars, they were like usually, you have your premiere and they shut down 4 blocks or something like that. Not Star Wars.
No.
they're like 5 blocks this way, 6 blocks this way. Just forget trying to go anywhere
Especially when
in
they're
Hollywood.
trying to get a lifelike replica down Hollywood Boulevard. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, that was cool. I saw it on the news and I was just like, that is extremely cool.
Holy crap.
Alexis, as you said, what a time to be alive.
No, it's just crazy to me because I was sitting there and people were sending me pictures Alexis, did you see? And I was like, I don't know what everyone's talking. It was just crazy to me because can you imagine that if we were back when we first I don't know, obviously we were all different ages when we all saw Star Wars, but just thinking about that is just insane.
I think that this model, I think, is the one that was at Disney parks in the Starcade.
I believe so.
think.
I don't know.
Because it looks about the same size, or they may have made a fresh one. It may be something.
A fresh one.
No, seriously, they may have
off the line.
They may have made it just for background while they were shooting, maybe a pickup while they were on a soundstage in LA. Who knows? But everybody who, essentially everybody who could have been attached to this film was there. I know Kevin Smith was there. Yeah. All of the actors.
I even saw Terry Crews there, and I was like,
yes,
wow.
Terry Crews was there.
Terry Crews can go wherever the damn hell he wants.
I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
He's like, I'm going to go to the Rogue One premiere. Yeah, you do it, buddy.
Yeah. And the whole stream was, hey, Star Wars, right? And everybody going, Star Wars.
Yeah, we did get some cool. Some cool insight to the behind the scenes. Yeah. When they were talking to Dave Filoni. Well, not Dave Filoni because he kind of kept it tight, but the story group with Rain Roberts. They also spoke to, and I cannot, the guy who does the production, actually buying the materials and finding the sets and stuff.
Okay.
We got some cool little tidbits. And then we got to see some clips that we have not seen before. So that was during the, I guess, commercial breaks.
Yeah.
So that was
brought to you by Verizon.
Yeah, Verizon made sure.
Dude, yeah, Verizon made sure. Yeah, that you knew that they were there. Yeah. They were prominent. They were present.
Just so you know, we paid for this.
Yeah. It was just so funny because I was just like, man, Verizon is all over the map right now with Star Wars, and it's just so funny to me.
Yeah.
Even my Facebook ads were just oh, Rogue One, Verizon. Oh, Rogue One, Verizon. And I was like, oh my god.
I'm surprised they haven't come out with a special Rogue One phone or something, or a Star Wars phone.
Didn't they have gosh, what is it called? Where a VR.
Go on.
Yes,
they have the Rogue One 360,
Yeah,
which is
I feel like they
available
have that
at
too.
Verizon stores.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just
Verizon. Go there.
Yeah.
Verizon, buy it. So this story talking about the premiere, I went to the fans to ask them what they wanted us to talk about. They wanted us to talk about the premiere. So this is something we're going to be doing on a regular basis, where we're going to be going to you to see what news or concept to add to the three of us. You're going to be the 4th contributor to Jedi Alliance, so please make sure to follow us on Twitter at Jedi Alliance Pod for that. So we're in the final stretch.
Yes.
Alexis, Michael, we're in the final stretch to Rogue One, an entirely new world of Star Wars than what we're used to. We're going to be, I barely think we're going to be hearing the name Skywalker, if anything.
Yeah, because Skywalker is kind of not even thought of right now. So it's pretty much just going to be straight up troops and soldiers and just...
There might be one person that I'm not going to mention the name of, who will be a cameo that could mention it. That could mention the name.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't think so. I don't know about you, Alexis, but Mike and I have been talking about how we've been trying to avoid trailers
Yep.
and how
No,
every
I'm on
trailer
the
has
same boat.
this, that, the other thing. So you're the same?
Yeah, I mean, I love it because people at work, where I work in the day, are, you know, they all work in production, so they're all like talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, la 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 la, like I end up like running out of the room. They're like, what's wrong, Alexis? Oh, she doesn't want to know anything. Like I'm pretty much going into this in the dark. Besides like the initial, I think 2 trailers that came out like months ago, but other than that, I don't watch anything. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Well, for what we do, it's hard to like completely be in the dark. But
True.
I'm glad that we're past all of the hubbub now, and now we get to see the movie.
Yeah.
You know, because of course we went through, oh, there's reshoots, there's something wrong with the movie, and it's like there's nothing wrong with the movie. Every movie does reshoots. The only
were
difference is
planned.
that people are reporting on it now. Like they did reshoots in the 80s and 90s, just nobody reported on it because it didn't matter. But, you know, we're past all of that. We're past, you know, anything except that the movie is here.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say that, you know, from Kevin Smith to, you know, Rain Roberts to Dave Filoni, everybody, you know, just seemed so psyched about it. You know, they had Frank Oz in there.
Frank Oz was there.
Yeah, like everybody who was Star Wars came in. And it was cool, especially to see Lawrence Kasdan. And he was like, I'm glad I didn't. He was like, this is the first one. I didn't write anything. I could
was
just
so
walk
chill.
in. He was like, I could
Kasdan
just
just
walk
like-
in and watch it.
So yeah, this is the first movie where I can just go and sit down and watch it. He was all levels of chill.
Yeah,
I was just
he
like, yo, Larry, I mean, perk it up a little bit.
Because
But-
there's probably a weight lifted because, you know, he's not writing like, you know, some small indie film. And I know probably my indie film lovers will get on me, but the bottom line is indie film does not have the weight on it that Star Wars has. You screw up Star Wars, people
And
are not
especially
going to be
like,
happy.
That's it. Get ready to be crucified. Like,
You screw up like the man in the kitchen. You'll be okay.
yo, I'm all about the man
yeah, I
in
was
the
gonna
kitchen.
say, I'm
The
like,
man in
I'm
the kitchen?
Like,
Can I
get
get
outta
the
here,
man in the
Michael.
kitchen
Man in the
remembers?
kitchen
And
was
on his
amazing.
first
Ah.
day, he ate peanut butter and
Yeah.
jelly.
No, that was I cried. I cried for days.
I saw that in college,
Yeah.
black and white.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Isn't beautiful. It was a
Five
beautiful
millimeter
film.
film
It was in a loft in
Changed
New
my
York.
life. Changed my life. So we're next week. We are going to be back, and we're not quite in the wrap up yet, though. I suppose we should be soon. Just so everybody knows, next week will be our last show before the holiday break. We are going to be Well, I mean, Christmas Day is on a Sunday,
Christmas
and New
time.
Year's Day is on a Sunday.
Well, I mean, it's like, yay, but I know that
I get to be home with my family instead of talking about Star Wars.
I'll just be home watching Star Wars.
Seriously.
in some
Part of my
form.
Christmas list.
I'm probably going to have seen Rogue One 3 times before we meet on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm seeing it
what?
Friday night and Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Before our show.
Yeah, I'll probably see it twice. 'Cause
'Cause
I'll probably see it again on
I'm seeing
Saturday or
I'm
something
seeing
like
on
that.
Thursday because my wife got real mad when she found out that we were going to go see it early. She was like, "So, is there an extra ticket?" And I was like, "No, there isn't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
I
So
told my
we're
wife
going-
that too. I was like,
I feel you, Drea. It's okay. I feel you.
I'm so sorry.
and like with her schedule, she works like too late to see it on Thursday. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see it like Saturday morning or something like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah, it's like we're
I'll
both
have to
"I'm
sit
so
around like,
I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, totally feel how the wives are feeling right now because I have work and I can't get out of it.
So
Weekends it is.
basically tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Mark, Donica, and I will be joining forces.
And I will be
if you will.
sitting in my chair being jelly the entire time.
Yeah.
But we love you though. See, this is
Uh-huh,
this
yeah.
is the
Okay,
love coming.
sure,
It's coming
yeah,
through.
Love.
To-
I'm just gonna leave it on the wide. You guys figure it out. Goodbye.
but it's gonna be, man. Tomorrow is gonna be great.
Slim actually, speaking of the movie and me being salty as hell back here, he asked box office predictions for all of us. I think anywhere between 280 million to maybe 300.
For the first weekend?
Maybe.
weekend.
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
you are. Whew.
I mean, if not,
you
at
were
least all-
optimistic.
Thursday's going to be huge.
Thursday's gonna be
Thursday and
Yeah.
Friday are going to be huge. They're already huge days. They're
Yeah.
already at about 200 million, and with word of mouth from the premiere and from us, follow us on Twitter for
never
more
know,
about
dude.
that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be even bigger. It's going to be people seeing it multiple times. It's going to be the Scott
Yeah.
Mantzes who are going to be going like, you know what? Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It's amazing.
Hey,
Scott Mantz is amazing.
I love Scott Mantz. You're my boy, man. You know I love you, man. It's like,
love me some
I want
Scott
to
Mantz.
see. I just want to see a Scott Mantz review of this episode.
oh man,
And they're,
I hate that guy.
and we burn that
Michael,
bridge.
There it is, gone forever.
But
I
but
love you,
the,
Scott Mantz.
despite the folks who are seeing it quote unquote for free, the members of the press who are seeing it early, we're gonna be seeing it again.
yeah. It's not like this is going to be the only time that I see this film.
Yeah, I might see this more on this big screen than I did Force
Yeah.
Awakens, and that's not a
Yeah,
knock
because I
at
saw Force Awakens
I
3
saw
times.
I saw Force Awakens about 3 to 4 times.
Yeah, I saw it
I only
3
saw it
times.
twice, but my second time was on IMAX 3D, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm done.
Like usually,
I got
like,
it.
I like my last time to be like on the 4th week or something where it's nice and chill,
Mm-hmm.
and then like in AMC Prime, like real nice and chill on like a Saturday morning, and it's like it's like the 10 a.m. show.
Yeah.
There's like 2 other people in there, and
Yeah, the theater-
I get the perfect picture and everything.
Yeah.
The theater near my apartment, it has like $6, $7 matinees, so I'm always there like
okay.
real early in the morning. But I know that obviously for Rogue One it's gonna be like $10.
Yeah.
But like I think that it would probably make more. 200 million tops, and then obviously global. I think about 380.
I think
350.
no, I think I'm gonna say 280.
All right.
I'm gonna say 280.
Yeah.
Yes,
Michael?
it's gonna be big.
Everybody in the chat is saying at least a slim 200 million for sure.
I'm gonna rock around. I want to say
I'm gonna rock right now.
232 million.
That's pretty specific.
Oh, nice.
I try.
right.
No, that's fine.
It's like playing The Price is Right.
Let us know what you want to see it do in the box office down below.
Yes.
We are constantly looking for your feedback on this show, so please go to us on iTunes, leave us a review, leave comments down below on the video. Let us know on Twitter. That's probably the place where we check the most, at Jedi Alliance Pod, what you want to see come back. There are some classic segments that if we get enough people that want to do it, we may bring them back seasonally, weekly, or monthly, so on and so forth. Quarterly. That's a good way of putting it. So let us know in the comments down below. Let us know on Twitter. Let us know on iTunes. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Jedi Alliance. Let's start with Alexis. Where can the folks find you on social media?
Oh, you can find me all over social media. We're all shenanigans will ensue at ATorres890. That's ATORRES890. Since our next show will be the last one during the holidays, you can check out my vlogs and stuff like that because I'll be traveling and things. Also, play with me on Overwatch on Twitch.
There you go.
Cool.
Michael.
And you can find me at One Youngster, which is ONEYOUNGSTA. And if you want to hang out on some other stuff, search NerdSoul on YouTube.
And you can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. You can find all of us here at The Popcorn Talk. Let us know what you think of Rogue One when you see it. We're going to be as clean as we can. There's an embargo for reviews until later this week. So
People
please.
are already breaking that thing.
Well, there's certain things that you break with it, certain things that you don't. So follow the two of us, and we'll be able to let you know what we thought of Rogue One in one way or another by Friday at the very least.
Yes.
But until then, we will see you next week for another episode of Jedi Alliance. May the Force be with you.
Oh, yeah.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Whitworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.